To all my marketers out there, you're probably spread real thin right now. I'm sure you need some help between creating content, launching campaigns, generating leads, scoring leads, nurturing leads, and a lot more stuff with leads. You barely have a moment to breathe, let alone do your best marketing. But that's where HubSpot and Breeze, its new built-in AI, come in. When you combine the power of Marketing Hub and Content Hub, you can have your best quarter, every single time. With tools that instantly remix your content, lead scoring to shine a light on potential customers, and AI-curated analytics suite for reports and KPIs. And that's all alongside co-pilots and agents to automate all of your tasks, making your life easier, getting you the results faster, and better connecting you to all your data all in one place. Doesn't that sound nice? So stop spreading yourself so thin and start making major moves with HubSpot. You can visit HubSpot.com/marketers to learn more.
Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, January 30th. I'm John Weigell here with Juliet, Bennett, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Entertainment is in a tailspin right now as a result of the writer strikes, AI, and, a lot more. But now it looks like there might be an answer to how we're going to develop the IP of the future, the blockchain. A new platform called Incention looks to give the power of storytelling to various creators, and even a big-time Hollywood writer is on board with it. So what does this exactly look like, and what can we expect from it? We'll get to all that. Before we do, let's give you the news in business and tech. To start off today, Frontier Airlines just submitted another bid on Wednesday to merge with the currently bankrupt Spirit Airlines. The two budget flyers were actually going to merge in 2022 until JetBlue swooped in to try and scoop up Spirit. Spirit executives, though, are rejecting this new deal as they look to exit Chapter 11 this year. The people at Frontier, though, think they need a merger. Speaking of bankruptcies, 23andMe might be trying to sell the company sometime soon. The genetic data conglomerate reported an 8% decline in consumer services revenue and an 82% drop in stock last year. In a memo on Tuesday, the company said there's doubt about the ability to continue. Oof. From there, we hit the Super Bowl. Super Bowl season is upon us, and Fox is excited to receive that pigskin. The network that's running the show of shows this year is completely sold out of ad space, with spots costing up to $8 million each. And from there, we pivot to Starbucks. Starbucks keeps making a whole bunch of changes to their stores. The coffee chain is going to slash about 30% of its menu to focus on higher quality items and viral trends. It's not really clear what's going to be going away, but the Oleato olive oil drinks are already gone. We talked about that a while ago. So what do you make of this menu cut, Juliet?
I think it's probably going to work out in Starbucks' favor. I do feel like the choices are overwhelming.
They are.
I feel like there are too many. When I go there, I just pick whatever cold brew option is the picture today, or just plain cold brew. And then everyone's like, just plain, no milk, no sugar, no nothing.
Wow.
Just the void.
Jeez.
Yes.
A Starbucks unicorn.
I just want the void.
Give me the void in a cup.
I think it's overwhelming. And I think we've gotten to these weird TikTok trends where it's like 6 pumps of this and 2 pumps of that. And it's gotten really wild and people are annoyed. And so, yeah, just go back to the basics, what people like. After a certain point, I really do feel like all sweet, sugary coffee drinks taste the same.
Yeah, agreed.
And like a vanilla latte is basically the same as like multiple of these variations. So why not?
Yeah, as an enjoyer of exclusively sweet coffee drinks and not the void, I will say that they're all pretty interchangeable. Every Christmas I get an eggnog latte. It's basically a vanilla latte, just with a little cinnamon on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. I'm fine with them dwindling the menu, and especially if they're going to emphasize on what is popular there and also viral trends when they come up, because I'm sure that will come up re-TikTok.
I'm waiting for the espresso tonic, Starbucks. I'm waiting.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming. And finally here, there's yet another unexpected brand collaboration that we have to report on. We must report on it. This time, it's with tequila and fried chicken, everybody's favorite combo. Popeyes and Tequila Don Julio announced a championship lineup menu featuring tequila marinated fried chicken that will be served at select restaurants for a limited time. Yeah, go get it.
Hey, everybody, I've been listening to this awesome podcast lately. It's called Nudge, hosted by Phil Agnew. It's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. So have you ever noticed how the smallest changes can have the biggest impact? On Nudge, you learn simple, evidence-based tips to help you kick bad habits, get that raise, and grow a business. Every bite-sized 20-minute show comes packed with practical advice from admired entrepreneurs and behavioral scientists alike. And Nudge is fast-paced, but still insightful with real-world examples that you can actually apply. Oh, and by the way, it's the UK's fastest-growing business podcast. I was listening to an episode recently that Phil, the host, had on Harvard professor Mike Norton, and Mike convinced Phil that he had to handwrite every single one of his emails before sending them to understand what he was really trying to talk about. This process, although it sounds insane, he claims, Phil, that it made his emails 3.5 times better. You got to listen to this podcast. It's a great way to understand how email marketing can help your business. You can listen to Nudge wherever you get your podcasts.
Main story today, it's time to talk about the creative side of blockchain technology. That's a sentence I never thought I would say. But Juliet, can you first tell me why we're looking to technology like blockchain to tell stories?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like it was working just fine before.
And now it's this whole thing, apparently.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in Hollywood right now, and just generally in terms of what's happening with creative people. A lot of that has to do with AI. We've been arguing about it for a long time now. I mean, it was one of the key pieces of the actors and writers strike. It was like, okay, well, can you train AI on my voice and then eliminate me from the creative process? I hope that doesn't happen. You know, how do we ethically use AI? Can we use AI as a tool that is actually going to help streamline things and make people be more productive? Or is it just going to take over? Or is it actually so bad that all it turns out is slop and we should avoid it at all times? Like, there's a lot of questions about what role technology is going to play in creative work. And I think it's a lot different than the technologies we've looked at before. Like, the typewriter made people faster, better writers. The word processor made people faster, better writers. It didn't write for you, though.
Sure.
You still had to come up with the words. So it's kind of a new arena that I think we haven't had to really think about before in the same way. I mean, obviously, you think about music even, and you're like, yes, 9 Inch Nails, that's a machine band. That's a great machine band. But it's not like you just wrote, hey, can you make me a 9 Inch Nails song? And then it made you. You had to make it.
Right.
So we're in a weird place.
Yeah, we are in a strange place, but I definitely want to hit on today what makes blockchain special in this instance. Why blockchain?
Well, this instance is weird. And I got to say, I don't know that I think it's that much about blockchain, if I'm being honest, having thought about this. So basically, Incention, that's the company we're talking about. It is a new storytelling platform, and it's being hyped by screenwriter-director David S. Goyer, who has a very long Hollywood career. He's been involved in the Blade franchise, the Dark Knight franchise, Foundation, the TV show, a lot of stuff. If you go to his IMDb page, I'm sure you'll recognize something that you have watched. Mm-hmm. He is really hyping this new sci-fi concept called Emergence. Emergence is going to be on Incention. They sound kind of similar, but it's confusing. But basically, Incention is the storytelling platform, and Emergence is his universe that he has built. This universe is sort of a sandbox for storytelling. Mm-hmm. So basically, it's about a universe where mysterious relics appear magically via a white hole, which I think is like a black hole, but white instead.
Just different. It's just different.
Stuff comes out. So basically, stuff comes out. It's mysterious. Where does it come from? What does it do? Who knows? And the idea here is that other creators can contribute content, whether that's stories, podcasts, art, comic, music, whatever, that fits within the Emergence world. And thus, you are collaborating on building this IP.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And what's interesting to me about this is that it already exists.
Okay.
This is Needful Things in space. This is Hellraiser, basically. It's the puzzle box. He worked on Hellraiser, so maybe, he's familiar with the idea of a mysterious relic from another dimension.
Inspiration from that, maybe.
Online communities have already been doing this sort of collaboration for free for years. If you look at Reddit's No Sleep community, you have probably hundreds of authors collaborating and making stories that either follow similar tropes, are part of shared universes. If you look at the SCP Foundation, that is a really long-running online project about a fictional organization that studies paranormal phenomena. Often they are objects, and people are just like, hey, here's this object, here's the story I made about it. People do this for free. They collaborate for free, and they do this.
Wow.
in the same sort of sandbox world. This is already going on. If you look at a website like Archive of Our Own, it's just people writing usually pretty horny fan fiction about stuff they love. Star Trek, Harry Potter, I don't know, whatever else is on there.
Yeah.
The difference here is that Incention is supposed to have all of the content on blockchain so that it tracks who contributes what. So this is your story. It's tracking that it's your story. This is your comic, your piece of music, whatever. And then you will be compensated for it, presumably in crypto, but it's unclear how much. That's the whole idea with the blockchain component. And then there's also an AI component. It has an AI tool called Atlas that is supposedly going to help creators brainstorm ideas for stories, aggregate their ideas, generate videos, whatever that means, post to social media. It's kind of billing it as, oh no, you're going to still do all of the creating, but this is just a tool to help you with administrative tasks. Although I wonder, what do you mean by generate videos though? Because that sounds like a job for like an animator, a voice artist, a composer.
Right.
Okay, sure. All right.
Right. It kind of sounds like a collaborative effort, kind of like what you talked about before. This already exists, but it's backed by tech. It's backed earlier, as you said, by A16Z Crypto.
Right, they're funding it.
So they are backing it. And it seems that people that do add to this will be compensated in some way, whether that's crypto or any other way. But we don't know exactly how they will be compensated, but at least there is a way to track what you have done to be compensated fairly for what it is. But, you know, it brings up a strange question about when somebody attributes something good or when somebody makes a good story, do they get paid more than somebody that makes a subpar story?
Right.
It's a weird situation, but I'm kind of into it, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Because it means that people can create as well as the main creator of the universe. So it seems like a great fan fiction crossover here.
Yeah. And I guess that's the thing is like, I'm into it, but I'm also like so not into it. And the more I think about it, the less into it I am, in fact. And I guess it's just because, I want to know how people are compensated, how this is curated, the extent that AI will be allowed to play a role in the creation of this content. Because I'm not like a huge no sleep contributor. I'm a huge no sleep reader. But I have contributed a few stories to No Sleep, and I have noticed that when you get a story on there and it's a good story and it's at the right time when people are on, you'll get a lot of upvotes. Now your story's at the top and a bunch of people are reading it. And as soon as that happens, you get a bunch of messages from people who have horror narration YouTube channels. And they're like, hey, can I read your story? And I usually say yes, because I don't give a shit.
Cool.
Because I'm doing it for fun. And then I get to hear someone like interpret my story and put whatever music or whatever spin they're going to do on it. And then I was like, oh, I could actually just do that myself. So I started my own podcast where I do that by myself. And at times I've had other podcasts even reach out and offer me money for stories. And that's great. It's not a lot of money, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'm sort of envisioning that it will work like this, only I'm building someone else's IP.
Right.
Or maybe it comes to a point where I get to create the universe and other people can build my IP. And I think it's cool that there is sort of this paper trail, if you will, albeit a digital paper trail that is like, this is your story. This is your thing. You are always going to get the money. You'll always be compensated for that. But I think the big problem that I'm having with it is that this works, but it works in like beloved franchises that have longevity.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Like stuff that people have been contributing to for years.
Right.
And I feel like so many people are turned off by the idea of AI and blockchain that they maybe won't want to contribute to this, even though you've got a successful screenwriter in the mix. And then my other question is like, if you're just earning like 6 cents, like who gives a shit? Just post on No Sleep where you have fun.
Right. Yeah.
And then also like at some point there was some talk in like the manifesto from Incention about outdated Hollywood models, and it takes forever to get something developed and they ignore these creative communities, which is yes and no true. I know that there are people who started on No Sleep who now write for like The Haunting of Hill House. So like it's not like they totally get ignored, but yes, it is hard to break through when you're just, you know, in a creative community and you're not in Hollywood with an agent trying to sell to people. And it is true that that model is collapsing in Hollywood as it stands. My question is this any more sustainable though?
Right.
I just have a lot of questions, and I have to admit that I do not think it will work, even though I do think it is a really interesting concept.
Yes. I can't really envision it popping off really, because as we talk about it at this time, I'm thinking to myself, where could I even read this? It seems a little gatekept in a way.
Yes.
You can contribute to it, but like contributing to it is very difficult.
Yeah, I signed up for an account, but I didn't see where I personally would be like, okay, I'm ready. I got my story. I made my comic. Like, I couldn't find that, which
Yeah.
maybe I just didn't look hard enough. But to be fair, there were not a lot of buttons. So I don't think I missed it. I think maybe it's not there yet.
Maybe this isn't the exact idea that's going to take creative away from Hollywood and bring us into a new era of creativity.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you feel the same way, but I could see it as a stepping stone to get to that, and
Yeah.
maybe as a trial run of something like this in order to develop a more user-friendly and better experience for everybody involved. Because as it is now, from what you're telling me with your experience, it seems a little too bare bones and a little too not well thought out
Yeah.
to take over for Hollywood. Yeah.
It feels a little inaccessible, even as a creator. I mean, I have watched as communities like No Sleep are like, there's too many rules to No Sleep. Now I'm going to go make my own story and post it somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like when you want to bring creators in, you have to be really accessible where somebody can just post their story. And it's not clear to me how this is going to work.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll keep tabs on it. I totally anticipate to never hear about it again. But if I do, that's really big news.
Yeah, I would love to find somebody who's like, yes, I have become a
Top contributor.
and I make a full living wage writing about mysterious relics that come out of this white hole.
That would be sick. I would love to see it.
You hear about people who are like 6-figure D&D masters because they're great at running D&D campaigns, and that's a shared universe. So I'm open to it, just a little doubtful.
Yeah, agreed. All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got so much more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. Sign up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at thehustledaily. We'll see you tomorrow.
New year, new resolutions. And this year on the Best Idea Yet podcast, we're revealing the untold origin stories of the products you're obsessed with. And we promise you have never heard these before.
Ever wonder how the iconic Reese's peanut butter cup was invented? Because it was by accident. H.B. Reese, a former frog salesman,
True story.
stumbled upon the idea after accidentally burning a batch of peanuts.
Classic.
Proving that sometimes our best ideas arise from what seem like our biggest mistakes.
And Jack, did you know there's a scientific explanation why humans crave that surprising combo of peanut butter and chocolate?
I didn't, but it sounds delicious.
It is delicious.
So, if you're looking to get inspired and creative this year, tune in to the Best Idea Yet. You can find us on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts.
And if you're looking for more podcasts to help you start this year off right, check out New Year, New Mindset on the Wondery app. Who knows? Your next great idea could be an accident that you burned. This is Nick.
And this is Jack.
And we'll see you on the Best Idea Yet.